Welcome back to another episode of Faith and Fame with me, your girl, Brittney Q. And today I'm so excited to be joined by Antanious Fanning.
Yo.
Better known as Ant. I'm so excited that you're here.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited.
So the very first time I heard your voice, I was like, who in the world is that? You have such a distinct voice that forces people to stop and listen to you. Do you hear that often?
No.
Do you know that about yourself?
Yeah, I do. Well, I mean, like, you know, a lot of the time people say things like that and, you know, you belittle it. You know, I think that's like what happens a lot of the time. People are like, oh my God, you do this, and then you just be like, okay, somebody just telling you that, you know. But
you have a gift.
Thanks.
A true gift. But beyond your voice, what I actually admire about you the most is your transparency. We were at a Heart and Soul a couple months back, and in the middle of worship, you stopped and you just started speaking what was on your heart, and you shared that you had been in a season where you had been kind of wrapped in lust and sex and drinking, trying to cope with what you've been feeling on the inside. But you said something that struck me, and I haven't been able to shake it since. You said, I struggled with the fact that my voice and worship could help everyone else, yet I struggled to even feel worthy of worshiping God myself. Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. So I want to unpack that today. Today I want to talk about being an imperfect Christian, you know, and what that looks like, especially serving in a leadership role in ministry. You are worship leading every Sunday. Do you feel that pressure of having to appear perfect?
Honestly, yes. Yeah. Because you, as a leader, and that's in like any category, wherever you work at, your house is like a glass, you know, and people are always looking at you, you know, always looking at, and sadly, people look for the bad things more than the good things, and you know, it's a lot of pressure. You know, I'm only 25 years old, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm getting done with like the things that I'm used to, you know, college and all of that type of things. And sometimes those things still show up in my life, and it's a pressure because, you know, the church for a long time has made us feel like we have to be perfect and everybody on stage is perfect. Yeah. And that's why I try to push my ministry to being transparent. 'Cause, you know, there's people my age, people younger than me, you know, they just go and nobody, you know, like Hillsong, Pastor Sam always says that this is a multicultural church. You know what I mean? And a lot of churches, they want that, but they only want the race. You know what I mean? They don't really want like, okay, this is a sinner. This person struggles with lust. This person struggles with addiction. They don't really, you know, they don't really give an opportunity for those people to feel welcome. So, you know, I try to be as transparent as I can.
That's incredible. So. I love what you said, that being a multicultural church is not just about race. It's about us all dealing with different sin, and no sin outweighs the other. Yeah. That's incredible. So if you don't mind, share a little bit about the story that led you to feeling like you had to revert to like smoking and drinking. Okay. Like what did you go through that made you feel like you needed the outlet?
Well, when I was younger, I was very insecure kid. I was a church baby, so I grew up in church. Everything was just church all the time, and you know, I didn't really fit in. I was kind of like, I was like an athlete, but I was like lame at the same time. I played football.
Okay, I can see that.
And I was the captain. I was like, okay. Okay. But I was kind of in between because, you know, I was telling some friends the other day because they were saying, okay, Ant, you was this in our school. You could sing, you could do this, but you know, in the black community, a lot of the time it's like, okay, you're the kid that goes to church all the time. You're lame. And where I'm from is not churches like Hillsong Transformation Church, Bethel. It's really just like Baptist churches. You know what I mean? And the perspective of a church is just so different, and that made me feel like I was an outcast because I wanted to do this. You know, that just led for like a lot of insecurities in my life on just not being able to fit in. My mama, I wasn't really sheltered, but I was at the same time.
Okay.
You know what I
do you mean
mean?
by sheltered? Like,
As in, I couldn't do the same thing, couldn't go to the same places, couldn't
Gotcha.
hang out with the, same people. And I think that like led for me to just keep feeling like the outcast. So when I went off to college and whatnot, it was just like smoking was pretty much like a community thing. I was very awkward, socially awkward, and it would just open me up to friends, open me up to, to talk to people and stuff like
so do
that.
you feel like you did it more for acceptance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at first. And curiosity, just want to be curious. Everybody was doing it,
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it. And I was just very curious. And then I realized, okay, this actually helps me. Oh, I actually want to talk to this girl. Hey, let's go have a smoke session. Easy. Oh, I want to be friends with you. Let's go have a smoke session. Real easy. Let's go get a bottle. You know what I mean? And after that, it starts to turn into addiction,
Wow.
And that's when it just gets a bit rocky because you like, now you can't even work on the things that were wrong with you at first, like the insecurities and all of these other things that are wrong with you, because now you're focused on, okay, I have an addiction, and as a worship leader, or as a man of God, it gets condemning sometimes, especially with how some churches move. So.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna dig into that some more too. So what was like the aha moment for you where you realized, one, you had an addiction, and two, something had to break, something had to change?
I mean, 2015, I started smoking. I've really never been like a really big drinker. When it came to girls, and I think that was another thing with me. I struggle with like two things really badly. That's smoking and that's like lust. And I think that when it came to stuff like that, it was hard for me because of the way that a man is brought up. You know what I mean? From like 2 years old, they're like grown women say, "Oh, this is my little boyfriend," and then it starts to become, okay, I'm getting an actual little girlfriend. I'm kissing this girl in kindergarten. Oh, my uncle's telling me this is how you treat a girl. This is what happens.
We got to put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Because little girls are raised so much differently.
Yeah.
We're groomed from like the age of 5 to become wives and carry ourselves in such a way where we can be found by a man. But it's almost like little boys are groomed to like get as many girls as you can.
Exactly.
insane.
Exactly. And I think like that's like those things are so hard because when you get of age and you get to 21 years old and you're like, okay, I'm heading out of college. I want to get my life right, but these things are so hard to like get rid of because it's like it's in you. Like you've been doing this all of your life. From middle school, you just now get introduced to porn. Okay, now you're sending pictures back and forth. Then in high school, now you're really dealing with lust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really a decision that you have to make. I'm in the middle of, trying to like, I think the biggest part is like not condemning yourself, And I think that's what I did a lot of the time, like just keep condemning yourself. And all condemnation is going to do is make you want to go back to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like, okay, I might as well forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that moment at Heart and Soul where you just unleashed it, or what the Black church calls exposing the devil, right? What made you feel like that needed to happen in that moment?
Well, me and my girlfriend, we were already talking about like me stopping, and it's hard. It's so hard because, at first it's acceptance and social thing, and then when it turns into an addiction, your body starts to crave it, At first it's a mental thing, At first it's okay, I want to do this, but then it becomes like it's just like
Your
second
body's
nature,
crazy,
like
yeah.
just okay, I want to do this. I was feeling really bad, and I wanted help, and I know for me, like I need accountability.
Yeah.
If I don't say anything, I'll just keep things running in my mind and don't move in it, and I feel like that for like I told the truth, because the truth was praying with me. And I told him, like, God's been telling me, like, walk up to you, ask you to pray for me for like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I just kept ignoring it. But literally, he just came and he started speaking into me, and I'm like, okay, wow. Like, God, I'm ready. And everything just started happening. Yeah. And it just opened me up, you know, and literally, like, the Spirit of God was just moving, you know, and the truth was just, like, confirming things, just confirming things. Since that day, it's been hard, you know. Yeah. Times I mess up, times I don't, but I think that since that day, it was an awakening to a new season. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it was a season of condemnation and like, this isn't cool. Like, and you need to stop. You up here, you doing this, and it would make me not be the best worship leader, because I would lead out of a broken place instead of I've been redeemed place. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that just being on stage a lot of time and just being up there and being just so, like, in a barren place, it's just like, I need help at this point. I need somebody to just at least speak to me and push me. So that's where.
Incredible. Yeah. That moment is like stamped in my mind, because once you did that, I left feeling both inspired and convicted. Because I realized what you did was so empowering, because you can't heal what you don't confront. Yeah. You know, and oftentimes we stay in our sin because of shame, because of embarrassment, because we don't want people to know that we're all jacked up in some way.
And that's the thing. We don't tell anybody because we're so prideful. Yeah. And I understand why. Because you tell some people and they belittle it. Like, you can tell somebody, hey, like, I'm having this issue, and they just say, just
pray about it.
You know, and the church people always give you the churchy answer, like, just give it to God. But I'm like, it's not that hard. You're not sitting here in the middle of the night, and you're not the person who's sitting in your bed and not being able to go to sleep because you haven't smoked all day. You haven't been that person that feels so alone because you have a lustful addiction and you have abandonment problems, and you start speaking these things to people, you know, you start saying these things to people, and they just like, just give it to God. Sometimes, and you know, I'm realizing that that's not the authentic answer. You know, when somebody's been authentic, they don't just tell you what you want to hear, you know, they really think, they evaluate the situation, and I think that's why people be so prideful about not speaking on it, because it's like, dang, like, do you really care?
People practical tools to, like, overcome it. Like, when I'm laying in my bed at night and temptation hits me upside the head, what am I supposed to do? Like, what are the practical tools to use before I pick up the phone and make the wrong call? Or, you know what I mean? You can't just say, just give it to God. I need more than that. I need tools. So that's good. So why do you think Christians or Christianity gets such a bad rap for being so judgmental? Like, we run people away to the point where they don't want to come back.
Well, it's like that. Okay, I understand sin, but there's a way that you go about things. Like, for an example, like, there can be a guy who really just is struggling with lust, right? And it could be because they've had encounters when they were younger that made them that way, you know? So and literally,
which is most of the time, that's
majority of the time. And a lot of people don't pay that any mind, and a lot of churches just judge you off the bat. Like, you shouldn't sin. You shouldn't sin, instead of loving you first. Yeah. You know, like, it's okay to correct people, but it's a certain way, you know? The church has forgot the love part. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we gotten to a point where we can't even speak against the LGBTQ community, and because we don't know how to love them. We don't know how to love them.
We're too busy judging them and telling them, well, the Bible says
the Bible says, you know, and it's like, dang, like, how do you, all you're doing is they're not going to get, you can't convict them. God will convict them. And you're condemning them, and you're making them sit in that for a long time. Now they have other problems because of what? The church just has to get to a point. It's okay to correct people, but you just got to know how to, like, speak to somebody, how to, you know, people try to rush breakthrough.
Ooh,
You know, it's
That's
like
good.
it's like when you're
Rush breakthrough.
when you get somebody who comes to your church, right, and they're dealing with this thing, it's like it's a process.
Yeah.
You know, from the first 3 months, you just loving on them, you're hanging out with them, you don't even say anything about it, you know?
Right, yeah.
And then when that time comes that they feel comfortable with you, that's when you start to say things like, you know, and it's like people just don't. People just don't. And it's like, do you really care?
Yeah.
Or are you just here for, okay, I'm a church person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the first time I've ever heard somebody say it that way. You can't rush breakthrough. That is so true. The first few months, you're just trying to establish a relationship. You can't just go in and be like, you need to get saved.
Exactly.
Right. That's
Exactly.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about what Christianity really looks like, being the imperfect Christian. Because the truth is that none of us are perfect.
Okay, so I enjoy my life. I definitely enjoy there are things that I don't do. There are things that I just don't do on social media because people gonna judge you. People gonna talk about you.
It's coming regardless.
But it's like as a Christian, like I don't want to feel perfect. Of course, like I'm gonna post the best moments of my life, but I don't want to. I try to be transparent because like my relationship with God comes first, off of religion, tradition, or any of that, and I just feel like I don't know how to say it. I don't really know how to say it.
You can say it raw, however you feel like.
I just think that as a Christian, like you should go about your life. You should enjoy your life and watch out for the things that the enemy puts in your way, you know, temptation and all of these things. But there are so many things that I had to relearn about God pretty much. You know, like we walk into this Christian thing and we always feel like that God is consistently always judging us, always on top of us, kind of like a dad type of figure, but he's not like the dad that you actually have, you know? And I just have to relearn that, oh, this is a God that really like loves me, like really wants to take his time with me, really wants to like have a relationship with me, not a God that is gonna push me away, say that I'm this, always that, always this. You know, at the end, you know what would be so funny? At the end of like anything, like after, you know, premarital sex or after smoking, after drinking, there's always a thought in your head of God being mad.
Ooh, wait, because that reminds me of something you said. You once said, I had felt for a long time that God was mad at me.
Yeah.
He wasn't mad, he was concerned.
Yeah.
That is like the sweetest way to think of God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's concerned about his child, his son.
Yeah. It's like you can't walk around thinking like when something happens and when you're in sin or whatnot, the first thought is, oh God, you're mad at me right now. But God is just like, I just want to see like you do good. I just want to see you do better. I want to see you at your best and fullest potential. And it's like I had got to a place where I'm just like, God, you have to be mad at me.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like God is speaking to me, but I'm ignoring him because I already have a perspective of him of, oh, like you already mad at me, you know. And I would ignore him, you know, intentionally because I'm afraid of the conversations that we have. I'm afraid that he wouldn't accept me for who I am, you know? Yeah. And a lot of that comes from thinking of God, how you perceive who God is, you know? A lot of time we perceive God as being our mom or how our dad is or how our friends are.
I was just about to ask you that fear of feeling like we can't come to God as raw as we are is because of the fear that's been placed on the inside of us from parents, the church, that we feel like we have to be perfect.
Yeah. Definitely. Like I feel that like God, he's a listener, you know? He sits there, he listens to you, like he evaluates it. He don't just okay, you did that. I'm going to judge you like this.
Yeah.
He don't do that, you know? And it's like you have to change your whole perspective. Church, I grew up real Baptist.
Me too.
I grew up
Baptist and
Baptist,
Pentecostal, yeah.
you know, wearing a suit all the
Oh
time.
my gosh.
You know, we couldn't even have praise team rehearsals because it was boys and girls on the team.
Wow.
And if an adult wasn't there, we couldn't have it. You know, it was just real like traditional, traditional. And it's like you have to, they train you up to see God in a way that he's not, you know? They try to train you up to be like, okay, you're going to hell because this is what you did. But God is like, why would I, okay, for an example, like I know that like there are times that I would go back to smoking, right? And literally I would just like think about like, okay, God is going to be mad at me. But literally God is like, okay, I was there when you promised me. Wow. When you promised me that you wouldn't do this again. I was there. I'm sitting right there. So why would I get mad? Because I know everything already. I know the past, future, present, all of this. And so why would I get mad then? And I already knew that when you promised me that you were going to mess up again.
That's
you know?
so good, yeah.
And it's like, you just have to change your perspective of him, not take advantage of him. Of course not, you know. Work toward, you know, being that, you know, what a Christian person looks like. Yeah. But don't condemn yourself, you know, and don't let other people do it, because you'll be in that same place for day after day, week after week, because you're just at your lowest point.
Yeah. So. I think one of the most beautiful things I think about God is that even when we're at our worst, he still gives us his best.
Right.
Over and over and over
Exactly.
again. Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about worship, because you are a worship leader. What does worship look like for you outside of the four walls of the church?
Outside? Okay. So my worship life is, it varies sometimes. Like it goes, sometimes I'm really in like a pocket. Or like, you know, I'll sit in my room, I'll just play my guitar. I enjoy myself. I enjoy God. I enjoy like what's going on. But there's sometimes when I just be dry, you know? Yeah. And that's normal. Yeah. You know? That's normal. You know, sometimes you get this revelation for God and you be like, oh, I can't wait to talk to God all the time. You know, you go to like, for an example, like I went to the Passion Conference. And like right after that, you get this drive on like, okay, I'm on it. Yeah. I'm on it. Like, God, I just want you. God, I just want you. And then there are seasons where you're just like, I'm here, God. Like,
I think
you know,
what you just said is dope, because I think it's normal to have periods, even every day, where you're not always praying, you're not always in your word, but you have moments where you feel God tugging on your heart to come back and to center yourself and take that time with him. Yeah,
and it's like, even when the periods that you don't really be all like, oh, yeah. It's God honors that you even
be
just.
Like what?
Oh, yeah. God honors that you even just showed up for him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even feel like going to church, but I'm still there. Yeah. I didn't feel like lifting my hands, but I'm still there, and he honors that. So outside of like, I'm always in church. I'm always in church. I'm always in rehearsal.
Always I really,
church. I am.
That's great though, but that says a lot about you.
A lot of my personal time is just spontaneous. Like sometimes I'll be driving around. I really like the times when I'm just by myself, and that's like when I really can just. A lot of my songs and stuff just come from like just worship moments. You know, just me enjoying God. And sometimes it's not even that long. It's just like 5 minutes. Like I'm spending time with God, and I'm really in right now. You know, so
that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so I like to do something called an elevator sermon.
Elevator.
Instead of pitching an idea, I want you to give us a quick message to whoever's watching and listening who may be feeling ashamed or embarrassed of getting into the presence of God because of something that they're currently battling or going through. Talk to that person.
Okay. Let's see. Because it's okay, people. I'm going to just say it like this.
Whatever you want to share.
Like for me, and I'm going to just be an example. Like there are times in my life where I don't feel anointed, where I don't feel that I'm that gifted, where I don't feel like I'm this church guy, you know. There's so many times where I just do not feel like that. But God literally honors when you just continue like chase after him, and he'll meet you just where you are. Like it doesn't matter if you're all the way over here, God will literally meet you right there. But you have to just be open to him, you know? Like you guys, you don't ever have to be condemned. You don't ever have to think that you're unworthy of just being able to worship a real God. Like he doesn't care about all of that. For him, he just wants your heart. He wants the relationship with you, you know? It's like a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Yeah. It's like I really just love you. You're my child.
I just want you
and I just want you. Like dirty. You just came out of jumping like a kid that just came out of a mud puddle. Like I don't care if you're dirty or not. I'm still gonna put you in my arms and hug you. So I just encourage you guys to just be like, God, I just want you. I know that I'm messed up. I know that I'm broken, but I want you. You know, a lot of people in the Bible were broken.
Broke,
broken,
busted, disgusted.
All of that. So it's just like, if God can use them,
murderer,
he can do the same for you. And you know, so.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, yay. Well, tell us what's next for you.
All right, so I'm working on a new EP. It's called Stable Love.
Come on, Stable Love.
Stable Love. So I'm really excited. I dropped music probably right beginning of last year sometime. This was supposed to be a part of it, but I decided to do it over to the side. But this is just music about like how God's love is just like stable and how he just wants your heart. Me and some of my friends, we just got together and we had spontaneous moments, and we just made them in the song. So
that's amazing.
Yep, it'll be out probably.
Talking about spontaneous moment, I want you to bless us with some
Definitely.
worship. But before we do that, how can we follow you and keep up with the movement?
Follow me on all social media. It is Antanious Fanning.
You know
no, not Antanious Fanning. It is Antanious TV. Antanious TV. Follow me. I'll follow you back.
Amazing. All right, we're gonna have you bless us.
Okay, let's do it. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord. Oh, great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only, Lord. Oh, great are you, Lord. Great and mighty, sovereign God. Great are you, Lord. Oh, it's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only, God. Great are you, Lord. Oh, great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Yeah. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. Come on, let's sing it out one more time. Yeah. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you, only God.
That was so good. And the voice. That's your new nickname, the voice. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Faith and Fame. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms at Faith and Fame TV. We'll see you next time.